Thank you so much. I first want to thank Dr. Mutuku for the great tour of the lab and for the important work that the entire team. It was really fun to meet a bunch of the students working up there in the lab and a whole bunch of young people. Makes you realize how strong this university has been in terms of recruiting students that want to do this work now and see it as a future, and it's our future, so we're really glad that they're doing it. And thank you to Two Blades as well, Two Blades, for their partnership with the USDA Cereal Disease Lab. I'm also pleased to have Dr. Kianian here, who is the lead researcher of the Cereal Disease Lab, with us today. And we would like to thank Shannon Schlecht, Executive Director of the Agricultural Utilization Research Institute, easier to call AURI, who we were together at Farm Fest just a few days ago, and I toured their booth and talked about all this incredible work that's going on. And everyone from the U of M, thank you for welcoming us and hosting these important research initiatives, including Dean Bohr. Thank you for being here. And we've talked about all the potential here with my new position on the Agriculture Committee in terms of trying to make sure research is number one in our minds. And it was in my mind last week as we got some extra funding at the last minute. I'll just put it that way. That's a nice way of saying it. That's a euphemism. With a lot of different things going on for the Cereal Lab, $1 million in addition to other funding that we've gotten. And that was work that I did actually with Senator Bozeman, my Republican counterpart on the Ag Committee, and Senator Hoeven, who I was just with up in North Dakota, as well. So what is this new funding and what will it do? So the first, and I will caution, we got it through the Senate, which is a big deal right now with all of the fights over every little thing and every big thing as well. We got that bill through the Senate, so it's not like, oh, it was just proposed. This is actually in there for the University of Minnesota. We now have to get the House counterpart done, but I feel good about our position to try to get some of this funding, just because we didn't do any of this additional funding last year, so the market usually means that something's going to happen this year in terms of a budget. So what is this funding? It's $500,000 to support mycotoxin research, which I just learned all about. It's so important for farmers who are facing losses because of toxins that contaminate their crops. So this kind of fungus can be devastating to crops, devastating to our food system. It's also important for Minnesota consumers to ensure that these toxins don't get in their food. That would be a dumb moment. Research into the prevention of these toxins protects crops grown across Minnesota and across our country, which in turn, of course, leads to more food safety and more market. The USDA Cereal Disease Lab is already a national leader on this issue and frequently partners with Two Blades to leverage their expertise in researching these toxins. And what we saw there, including bright glowing green with special glasses, the actual work that's going on, you can see the toxins doing their bad work, and you can see the work that we can do to make these plants strong so that doesn't happen. This new investment will help accelerate the work Two Blades and the Cereal Disease Lab is already doing. Secondly, the second part of this, of the $1 million, was $500,000 to establish a new partnership focused on research into industrial hemp. This funding will make sure that the Cereal Disease Lab and its partners like AURI can improve opportunities for Minnesota's industrial hemp growers by expanding processing opportunities and making their businesses more innovative and competitive. At Farm Fest, as I noted, I saw what we are doing with industrial hemp already, building materials that are lightweight and renewable. You can make everything from flooring to insulation. Shirts, do you want to demonstrate? Where's our shirt that we have on? Where is he? Right there, shirt. Pants, the jeans too, right? We've got the Lower Sioux who have been doing a lot in this area. AURI has long led the way in developing byproducts from corn, soybeans, and kernza, and now hemp. So I'm really into making sure that we are meeting the next generation of ag And that means continuing to do what we're doing. This is all, that takeaway from that is huge. We're number one for sugar beets. We're number one for turkeys. We seem to always have that position. We are number two for hogs. We have a huge, actually diverse economy when it comes to ag. We're number four for ag exports in the whole country. Of course, concerned about the tariffs right now, but that's not our focus today. We are really a leader in ag, and being a leader in ag means not resting on our laurels, right? That's why we were one of the first out there on biofuels and bio-made products, and then the next generation with biodiesel and soy, and that really, Minnesota was a leader in that. Minnesota is now poised to be a leader when it comes to alternative proteins, and some of the work that we're doing and the crops that we're growing that can be mixed in with regular proteins can be mixed in. That's another area of huge growth for us. And a third area is this hemp. It's one of the oldest and most versatile crops in agriculture. The fiber is strong, it's biodegradable, and it's eco-friendly. The fiber is strong, right? We'll do another demonstration. It can be used for everything from textiles to paper to automotive parts and even construction materials. But in order for hemp fibers to be fully utilized, we need to invest in the processing technology. This is crucial for our farmers. The industrial hemp market was valued at over $440 million in 2024, up from $290 million in 2023, according to USDA data. That's growth of more than 50% in a single year. So when I see numbers like that, I'm like, Minnesota's got to be out front on this. In Minnesota alone last year, there were 132 licensed hemp growers, 96 licensed processors, and over 2,000 acres of industrial hemp planted last year. It's a strong start, but we clearly have room to grow. Investments in infrastructure and key research into how to process fibers from the plant are needed to accelerate the growth. That's why the funding is so critical. I was there when we made some exemptions to allow the growth of hemp on the Ag Committee, and now I want to be part of making sure that we're making the smartest use of this industrial hemp. New research partnerships in St. Paul, creating new rural jobs, and increasing access to a sustainable crop that can boost farm income. We still have work to do. Obviously, we have to work this with the House, the entire budget, but also the ag bill, and in that ag bill is our $1 million. And I am ready to work with everyone to get this done. With the world-class research at the Cereal Disease Lab and the cutting-edge work being done with partners like AURI and Two Blades, we're not just helping our farmers, we're ensuring our economic future in Minnesota. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Mutuku, the group leader of Two Blades. And then we'll hear from Shannon with AURI. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. I want to thank Senator Klobuchar.
Closer. Look at that big microphone.
I want to thank Senator Klobuchar, Sharia, my friend, Dean Brian Barr, and other distinguished guests for attending today's event. My name is Josiah Mutuku. I'm the Two Blades group leader here on campus at the UMN St. Paul campus. Two Blades depends on the type of public-private partnerships that we are witnessing today. We are hosted by the USDA Cereal Disease Lab, which is the world's only specialized cereal disease lab. So it's a very unique position. Mm-hmm. As a non-profit ag-biotech company, our mission is to advance and de-risk plant science innovations that help farmers eliminate pre-harvest losses caused by diseases and pests, including toxigenic fungi such as Fusarium, which we have seen in the lab, and Aspergillus, both of which are increasingly in the news and spreading in new parts in the U.S. These fungal pathogens have affected U.S. agriculture for over 50 years and continue to be one of the greatest and most devastating threats to our food supply. They cost U.S. farmers up to $3 billion a year in mitigation costs and pose significant health challenges to humans and animals. In recent years, U.S. farmers have faced a surge in vomitoxin contamination as plants endure more frequent environmental stressors. For example, in 2023, drought conditions across the Midwest led to they led to contamination in corn, leading to high grain elevator rejection rates, including here in Minnesota. Last year, excessive rainfall triggered severe Fusarium med blight infections in wheat, degrading grain quality and elevating vomitoxin levels. These high vomitoxin levels led to discounts of over $3, which is a very high amount, especially when you consider that the price range is about $6 to $7 a bushel. Now, the result was a substantial income loss for growers, and this is information that we have gleaned from U.S. Minnesota wheat growers. Mm-hmm. So Senator Klobuchar's work last week to secure funding increase for USDA cereal disease lab is critical for the success of tubeless and CDL partnership in developing resistance to these molds. As the agriculture industry well knows, federal funding for research is at its lowest level since the 1970s, while threats like mycotoxin are expected to increase dramatically over the next 10 years. We are fortunate to have the cereal disease lab because scientists from this lab travel across the US and collect samples for analysis to determine shifts in the pathogen population on an annual basis, presenting an opportunity for us to update our methods. On behalf of Tubeless and the Cereal Disease Lab, I would like to thank you for prioritizing this work and for your forward-looking efforts to address research needs that benefit Minnesotan farmers and the U.S. agriculture.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I would like to turn over to Shannon.
Very good. All right. Okay.
Very good. Well, thank you, Senator Klobuchar, for your leadership and work to secure funding for industrial hemp research into fiber and to create this partnership between the Cereal Disease Lab here in St. Paul and the cotton fiber bioscience utilization research work that's happening in New Orleans that's been a leader in cotton fiber research and the learnings that we have in terms of moving industrial hemp forward. I think these ARS researches and the knowledge that exists is just it's necessary to help jumpstart the work on industrial hemp as we look forward to how do we move research forward. ARS is seen as a trusted partner by industry, and I think a trusted partner in terms of how we move industrial hemp forward and increase our U.S. capacity in terms of processing and helping this industry grow. It's a research that's needed, as was mentioned by the Senator, in terms of the fiber research as well as the product development work and all the plethora of opportunities that were mentioned earlier where hemp fits and could be an economical opportunity for our growers and for growing a bio-based economy. So just a little bit about ARI. We are a value-added focused organization. We were created by the state legislature back in the 1980s to really look at the crops that are grown in Minnesota and across the region and the value-added feedstocks that exist here in terms of moving them forward into new market opportunities. We started looking at industrial hemp back in 2018 in terms of thinking about what is the opportunity for producers in creating a roadmap in terms of what are the risks and what are the opportunities and getting that information out in front of many players. That's resulted in us being involved in a lot of different activities related to industrial hemp and for us to further see the opportunity that exists as we look at the fiber side as well as the many different uses. And it was great to see USDA put a research roadmap out last year as well that focuses on the bio-based economy and manufacturing opportunities. So as I mentioned, we've seen a lot of opportunity as we've worked with commercial entities and we've looked at research and initiatives in terms of how we can move this forward. We conducted a hemp fiber initiative with MnDOT and MDA last year, looking at hemp use and erosion control for road construction materials, as well as for hydromulching, when we need to look at those opportunities as well to replace plastic in some of those products. We've worked with several Minnesota companies in terms of looking at their value-added ideas and what research and applied research is needed to move that forward. And we just released a hemp market spotlight this year as well for producers, for them to better understand the hemp industry and what are those opportunities and what are the markets that they could participate in as they look at that crop as an alternative to other crops that they can produce here in the state. And I'll just add that the ARI Board of Directors has been very focused on industrial hemp as well. Back when the 2018 Farm Bill was approved, we moved very quickly in purchasing a decorticator, which we were able to view when the Senator visited our laboratory earlier this year in Waseca. And we have a bio-based products focus area as well, and this work is very synergistic to moving those bio-based opportunities forward. So this collaboration with the Cereal Disease Lab, with industry, with the Cotton Fiber Research Lab is just critical in terms of moving these opportunities forward, the research gaps that exist, filling those information, de-risking new opportunities, and moving industrial hemp forward as a market opportunity and continuing that growth that the Senator mentioned previously in terms of how do we continue to expand that market. For those that don't know a lot about industrial hemp, it has a lot of opportunities. Right, you've got a food use in this whole protein space and the alternative protein around the oils that can be used as well. You've got the feed side, and we've got an initiative underway with Embold, which is a Minnesota-led food and ag collaboration looking at new feed ingredients and how hemp might fit in there. Renewable fuels in terms of how it can be used as well from a biomass to an oil side. And then, of course, the fiber side. Right, which is an area that we are focused on here today in terms of moving forward of the different products, right, from textiles to biocomposites to green building projects and hempcrete and all the different areas that hemp could be utilized in. It is so versatile and there's so much research that's needed to continue to move that forward and think about those opportunities. So research to date, I feel, has been limited. Right? It's fairly new as we look back. It was growing, many years ago, but 2018 was the turning point. And there's just a lot of catch-up that's needed. And this, the funding to advance applied research is just absolutely critical to play catch-up and to look at those new opportunities. And then I'll just add it was really great to see last month as well that the state's technical advisory group approved looking at modifying the residential codes for using hemp as a building product in Minnesota. So Minnesota could be the first state that hemp would be approved for using industrial hemp into hempcrete and also for straw bale construction, which is exciting.
Concrete called hempcrete?
Concrete
really
called...
creative. So is it like real concrete?
It's similar to concrete, yeah, made from hemp, right, and used as my friends can speak a lot more to it, but an exciting development and another great use as we think about hemp and the herd and the fibers and the entire plant that can be utilized. I'll just close by saying that we're really excited for this opportunity. Applied research can really de-risk and help move new opportunities forward, unlock new crops for our producers, right, and create a growth for our bio-based economy that I know you've been such a great champion of over your years in the Senate. So thank you for your leadership. We look forward to the collaboration with ARS and the Cereal Disease Lab and industry to move this forward. And with that, Senator, I'll turn it back to you for closing comments.
Okay, very good. Well, thank you. Thank you, everyone. And you can see how excited we are about this. And I spoke to President Cunningham about this as well last week. And with her background, as you all know, with having been directed the innovation entire work in Michigan, another M state, very interested in this. So our hope here is this is the beginning of something really great. We're already doing some work in Minnesota. We're already thriving in so many areas of agriculture. But this is one area where I think we can really grow, and I'm hoping that this research is going to really put us on the map. Again, it's just the beginning, but it's a good beginning, and we're ready to go. Okay? Questions? Can we do one later, just you and me? Okay, great. Okay. I know it's about that hemp shirt and where you can get it, but okay.
Never asked somebody to do this.
Okay. Is that it? You have anything, guys? Your farm fested out back there?
Easier for farmers to want to grow hemp?
Yeah, so what you want is to build a market, right? And it's really hard to build that market unless the science and research is done to show, yeah, you can have this, you can use hemp in insulation, you can use hemp in concrete. So once they show that it can be done, and I'll let him answer this one, once they show it can be done, that creates the market. You can have markets created by financial incentives, things like that, but when you have a whole new crop and new uses of the crop, you actually have to make some regulatory things so you can show it that hemp is safe to use in certain things. So that starts with research. But yet, some of the uses like the clothes or other things, that's just easier to do. But some of the other ones you may have to need state approvals to be able to do it. So that's why having this start here, the research goes hand in hand with creating the market and creating the incentive. One example we saw at Farm Fest was sustainable aviation fuel, right? That's a combination of things. It's investment and incentives to get it done, It's the farmers seeing the market out there. It's government saying it's okay, and it's major private sector investment of big companies, Delta Airlines and the like. You just suddenly a farmer says, "Oh, I like hemp. It's going to be cool," but then there's nowhere to put it in, and that's where these guys fit in. It's that synergy between the university and not just having research sitting on the shelf, but having it go to something that makes our economy stronger. So, you want to add anything? Or?
You covered it well. No, I don't. That was covered really well in terms of like how do we think about the market opportunities for fiber. You look at food and feed, right? And renewable fuels are much more understood. The fiber side of hemp is really just starting, right? So there's some risks there in terms of what are the regulatory parameters? What does industry need? What are they looking for? Are there ways that we can more economically do processing, right? And just different processing techniques.
That's
so,
a good point. Yeah.
like how do we get it more cost competitive? And then, right, just the whole economic equation of all these different market pulls for hemp, and we can add one more value. The segment through fiber would be another great reason to make a higher return for producers that are looking at hemp and make it competitive.
So how much further in the future do you think, I mean, whether it's months or years or 10 years or whatever, that more farmers are going to want to plant this stuff? So
yeah, a great question in terms of where does the market go? There's a lot that goes into that in terms of looking at is there processing capacity, right? Are there markets that are available? Do we understand what the market needs? Right, so it's a longer term vision. That's what research is. But I think the sooner we can get at this and we can accelerate with these types of dollars, right, of understanding that and de-risking that, will make it happen much sooner than we would otherwise.
Yeah, and I also don't want to forget the other half of this is mycotoxin issue in the research, which is on more traditional crops. But the risks that we have, like we saw what happened with the pandemic, we saw what happens when these things kind of take over and we're not ahead of it, we don't have solutions. That's what they are doing right now on that side, and that's important for our security, our food security. It's important for our national security. And so that part of it is equally important. So one is like, let's go into something new, and the other is, let's make sure that we protect what we have now for food supply in this country. All right? Thank you.